Political analyst Mike Luery, welcome back, is here with us this morning.
All right, so Mike, let's look at the big picture of the landscape. Who do you think were the big winners last night?
Well, no doubt about it, Brandy. The Democratic establishment did really well last night. Starting with, let's go to the top of the ticket, Xavier Becerra, the Democrat who is obviously well known, having been Attorney General for California for many years, also served in the Biden cabinet as well. But he did really well, advancing to what looks like the top two at this point against a very well-funded person in Tom Steyer, obviously was his challenger. And Tom Steyer had more than $215 million of his own money that he used for that campaign. You saw those ads on the air. They were nonstop. They went all the time. A lot of people were wondering, well, why is Tom Steyer always shouting at me? That's what it seemed like. But nevertheless, Xavier Becerra seems to have been the one who prevails in this. So that's something that is good for the Democratic establishment. Other establishment candidates, Doris Matsui, who is facing a challenger in Mai Vang in the Congressional District number 7. She's 81 years old, and in spite of that, she's facing a challenger who is half her age and had a lot of money as well. But it looks like Doris Matsui will be advancing to November along with Mai Vang. Other ones that we're looking at is the mayor's race in Los Angeles. That's one that's attracted a lot of attention, of course. And in that race, Karen Bass, who had very dismal ratings, approval ratings of down to about 26%, and yet she's making the top two, and looks like she's going to be facing a reality TV star, Spencer Spratt, going back to the days of The Hills. Well, that's been a minute since that happened, and his marriage to Heidi Montag. But besides that, it looks like Karen Bass will prevail. So you'd have to say overall a pretty good day for Democratic establishment candidates.
Did you happen to see Spencer Pratt's campaign video where he's Batman?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was almost the same thing I've ever seen. Very
viral videos that went all over the place. It attracted a lot of attention.
It did what it was supposed to.
Yeah, it did exactly. It got him the attention that he was looking for, and now he's advanced to seemingly the top two.
Okay, so let's talk about maybe some of the biggest surprises.
Well, there were a lot of them. I think the biggest one was the Kevin Kiley race. This is CD number 6. This is a district that was carved up by Prop 50 and designed to be a safe seat for Democrats. Well, it turns out it's not so safe after all, because Kevin Kiley is now leading that race as a NPP and no party preference, an independent. And I actually talked to him last night about that, and he was saying, well, I asked him if he was going to commit with the Republicans or the Democrats. Who is he going to caucus with? And he said he doesn't know. He wants to sort of evaluate things. He wants to have more of an independent voice. But it's surprising that he is leading that campaign along with another unknown Republican, and who is actually right now beating Richard Pan, the Democrat. So that would be the height of irony to have a district carved as a safe seat for Democrats. Remember, their whole goal was to have 5 seats that would now switch from Republican to Democrat to have a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives in Washington, and it may not happen because of what's happening in CD6.
That's fascinating.
It's also very interesting too with Kevin Kiley, because he, while in Congress, even sponsored a bill to try to stop the gerrymandering that happened related to Prop 50. So it'll be very interesting to see if voters send him back to D.C.
Certainly will.
Absolutely.
Mike, we appreciate your take.
You bet.
It's good to see you.
And you'll be back at 9:15.
Come back soon.
Look forward to seeing you.
Okay. All right.